Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for the first Saturday in May. It's the second division of the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. $500,000 is the purse. 3-year-olds going 9 furlongs. Let's take a peek at this field. And Mike, the favorite in this race, and deservedly so, is going to be the number 5 Nadal, who ran hard from start to finish in the Grade 2 Rebel and is likely on the lead once again in this division of the Arkansas Derby.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is. It's funny, Dan, because just going strictly by figures, if you want to look at the race that way, he's not a standout in this field. But you had to give him some extra credit for his win last time because he ran a giant race on a really tough pace situation there.
Remember, you can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Timeform US has Nadal, the number 5, out there on the lead. The 11 Wells Bayou, who went gate to wire last time out in the Louisiana Derby. This horse is no turtle. He's quick from the gate. Just not sure he's as quick as Nadal, and he's outposted.
I don't know if he is either, Dan, but I think one of the more interesting things to look at with this race is the fact that the 3 favorites on the morning line are all horses who have speed and want to be forward. So it's something that you want to take into consideration when you're handicapping this race.
A horse that would really benefit from a fast pace, and one that perhaps has a puncher's chance, is the number 1, Finnick the Fierce. This horse, Grade 2 placed as a 2-year-old, usually a one-run closer, Mike. Last time out, he didn't break very well. It's become a very bad habit for this horse, but he got into the race. He was in the pocket. He was down tight on the inside. I'm not sure if the trouble cost him the race, but he was placed first via disqualification. He's the horse whose 2 best races right now, at least the fastest ones, have come on wet tracks.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I didn't necessarily agree with that DQ last time. This horse ran fine in there. As you say, a wet track maybe would help him, but he's got to improve by a lot to win this race.
We see him angling down towards the inside, just a little bit tight for Finnick the Fierce. Maybe he just didn't want to go through this hole. I thought he had enough room looking at the head-on. He finished okay, and again, if the pace is fast, he'll be running late. Just not sure he's the best closer in the field. We'll talk a little bit about the number 2. That's Saratogian, and this horse just looks overmatched on paper. He's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life. He was 60-1 in an optional claimer at Gulfstream, and he tired badly. This is his first time around 2 turns. If you're looking for a positive, the Formulator fact for his trainer has 27% winners, a $5.10 ROI with 3-year-olds in dirt route graded stakes races. But this horse is a reach on paper.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I realize that options are limited right now with so few tracks running, but this horse is in the wrong race here.
Rarely do you find a Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner and 2-year-old champion that is still somewhat under the radar, and I think that's the case for the 3. Storm the Court, who's making his 3rd start of the form cycle for Peter Urton, and I think you could say he has some excuses for his first 2 races. His first race against Nadal, he was at a distance shorter than his best. His first start off the layoff and probably a building block. Last time out, he was in against 2 real toughies, an Authentic and Honor AP. I didn't like that he was being scrubbed on the backstretch and had to work, but I thought he tried real hard and wasn't losing that much ground in the stretch against those 2.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, I don't think he's run great in either of his first 2 starts as a 3-year-old, but he hasn't run terribly either. It does sort of feel like maybe he's working his way into shape. If nothing else, Dan, and listen, I have a lot of respect for Nadal. I think the San Felipe field, considering the horses that ran 1-2, might have been a tougher spot than this one.
I agree, and I like that this horse has shown a little bit more tactical speed. We saw him go gate to wire in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I think he can sit off the pace, and I think he might be rounding back into form in his 3rd start of the form cycle. I think a second flight trip is coming for him, as well as for his next-door neighbor, the number 4, King Ghoulia Moe, who was a pace-pressing upset winner of the Tampa Bay Derby last time out. We'll watch that race, and boy, he didn't run like a 49-1 shot. He was right up close to the pace. He's taking over as they swing into the stretch. There's not a lot of running going on behind him, and that is concerning. But this 99 Beyer speed figure looks legit. It appears he's training well coming into this race, and if he can sit in the second flight off of the leaders, I think he should be in with a chance turning into the lane.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, I realized that he was a huge price in that race, the Tampa Bay Derby there, and I think probably deservedly so. But he didn't look to me like he lucked into that win, Dan. He looked really good to me winning that race. It came back fast. And I agree with you. I don't think he needs the lead to be effective here. So there are things to like about this horse.
Here's the favorite. Nadal will go back to the Rebel. First time 2 turns, first time wet track, first time out of Southern California. He worked hard every step of the way. He put away 2 pace rivals that pushed him hard, and now it looks like he might be in some hot water when the long shot Accession angles up to his outside, but Nadal always finds a little bit more. This was the classic fast early, slow late race, which probably contributed to that 96 Beyer speed figure. A lot of folks visually thought it was going to end up a lot higher. If he can get away to a breather on the backstretch and Wells Bayou leaves him alone, he is going to be real tough as he stretches out to 1 1/8 miles.
Yeah, I think he's going to be tough either way in here, Dan. You know, he's not that brilliant, you know, kind of 3-year-old that maybe you expect from Baffert. If you look at the first division of this race, Baffert's horse Charlatan is a much more brilliant horse. Nadal's not that, but he's really good. And his two graded stakes wins so far. He didn't win by a lot, but he was just dead game both times, and he deserves a lot of extra credit for that Rebel win.
The number 6 is Code Runner. You're getting 50 to 1 on a horse trained by Steve Asmussen with a long-winded pedigree that should be suited by this 1 1/8 miles. Let's go back to Code Runner's most recent win, a confidence booster at 1 mile at Sam Houston. He got a very nice in-out trip here, Mike, and he had to work pretty hard at the 3/16 pole to put away these 2 leaders. His one and only prior start against stakes competition was not good at all.
Got a good trip in this race, and he does get it done at the end. It's not that impressive. It's not that fast, and he looks like a legit 50 to 1 shot in here.
Silver Prospector on his best day can step with the better horses in this division. He beat Tiz the Law, one of the divisional leaders in the Kentucky Jockey Club, as a 2-year-old. He was compromised in his seasonal debut, the Smarty Jones, by a lack of pace and a gate-to-wire winner. He got a beautiful trip when beating Wells Bayou in the Southwest 2 starts back. Last time out on the Rebel, maybe he moved a little too soon. It was a mid-move down towards the inside. He was in behind Nadal. While he was squeezed at the quarter pole, I just had a feeling he was going nowhere at that point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't like his last race. If you have excuses for it, that's fine. I think he's a horse that probably deserves an excuse because his form prior to that was actually really good. I just didn't think he ran well at all last time. If you're still a believer in him, you're going to get a price this time, and he is far from impossible in here.
Absolutely not impossible at all. His fastest race on a fast track. He has run on wet tracks in 3 of his last 4, and he might get a pace to run at. I think they're going to take him back a little more and make 1 run this time around. Fast enough, the number 8 is going to scratch. Unfortunately, he came out of his last workout with a shin injury. He'll miss this race, so we'll move to the number 9, Tyshawn. And I think Tyshawn is a little bit dirtied up, Mike. He was no match for the aforementioned Authentic, who might be the best 3-year-old in the country in the Sham. In the Southwest, the running line looks terrible. He did not have a good trip. They tried to get forward with him. They rated him back on the first turn, and then he ended up 4-5 wide all the way around the track. I draw a line through that race, and in the Oaklawn Stakes, Mike, a race that was dominated by horses coming from far off the pace, he made the first run into the fast pace and made the lead. I thought it was a good performance for Tyshawn, and boy, I have a feeling that this horse, if he can rate a little bit, is a sleeper at a price.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it, Dan. I mean, I thought he ran really well last time, and he's not a horse that I was a big fan of going into that Oaklawn Stakes last time, but he did run really well in there. You know, we'll see. I'm still a little concerned about how far he wants to go, so the 1 1/8 miles might not be ideal for him. And I think you also have to factor in, Dan, that he's a horse who wants to be forward, and this pace could be fast.
Farmington Road wants to come from off the pace, and if the pace is fast, he'll be flying as he was in the Oaklawn Stakes. Let's watch that race. Tyshawn makes the lead. He made the first run. Farmington Road, far outside right now, coming after Mr. Big News. Again, this pace was electric up front. It should be fast again. I'm not sure if it's going to be as fast as the Oaklawn Stakes. Mr. Big News strikes the lead. Here comes Farmington Road, lugging in just a bit. He doesn't get there, but this horse has really stepped it up since being stretched out around 2 turns.
He does look like that kind of horse that, you know, the longer, the better for him. So the 9 furlongs works for him. A fast pace will work for him. I thought he ran fine last time. I think it's, you know, at least worth, you know, at least thinking that the wet track didn't necessarily help him last time. As he gets back on fast dirt, I can see him running better here. Then I don't love him, but he's a horse I could use somewhere.
Formulator fact for Todd Pletcher. Over the past 4 years, 3-year-old dirt routers in graded stakes races at Oaklawn, 4 for 9, a $3.22 return on investment. Wells Bayou last, but certainly not least. This horse, I thought, ran well in the Southwest. He was just second best to Silver Prospector. Both horses got good trips. Wells Bayou on the lead, Silver Prospector following in the pocket. In the Louisiana Derby, I loved how aggressive Florent Geroux was out of the gate. They had to go a little bit fast in that early portion of that race, but this horse ended up uncontested, and there was just no closing going on. They ran 1-2 around the track. Something tells me that if he's going to be in a hard chase this time around, it can actually work against him a bit.
It probably would. If he has to chase Nadal, it's not going to work out too well for him. But I agree with you about his Louisiana Derby last time. I love the ride that he got, where Geroux just decided he'd let him go fast and discourage the other speeds. And I think that really worked to his advantage. So far, he's made very few mistakes, Dan. We'll see what kind of trip he gets in here. I wouldn't take the 7-2 morning line on this horse, but he's pretty dangerous. He's improving all the time.
Top pick time for the Saturday race of the day. Nadal is the horse to beat. We're going to try to beat him. We both picked Nadal second. Mike, you went with Storm the Court, third start of the form cycle, tactical speed to sit off what could be a fast pace. Maybe the 2-year-old champion rebounds on the first Saturday in May.
Yeah, maybe he does. I mean, I don't love this horse, Dan. I just sort of wanted an alternative to Nadal, and I'm not way against Nadal in here. I just thought that maybe this was the slightly tougher division. And Storm the Court, I like the way he's progressing. I'm going to hope he takes one more step forward here.
King Ghoulia Moe is my top pick. He's going to have to prove it against a much tougher field than he faced in the Tampa Bay Derby. I think that win was legitimate. I think he's going to sit with your horse, Storm the Court, in the second flight, and we'll find out how good he is, perhaps at a slightly better price than his morning line. 4, 5, 11, and 3 for me. 3, 5, 4, and 7 for Mike. It's the second division of the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. Your Saturday race of the day is an approximate post time of 6:43 Central. Good luck.